as someone who's starting and trying to commit a certain amount of time to this, like a couple hours per week, I think that there's a lot of lessons that I'm learning, and I just want to share those lessons. So if anyone else wants to get into this, or if you're like intimidated by it, you can see that there are paths that you can take to learn how to fly FPV drones, and that you don't have to be like super skilled right out the gate. But as I've just continued to try and fly for at least an hour a week, I have gotten considerably better, but still not good. This was my first battery of the day back at our little park not too far from our house. I feel like I was shaking the rust off here. It's been a couple of, actually probably 2 weeks since I've had a good flying session, because last week I went up to Michigan and forgot my antennas, which that would have been a fantastic time to fly, to chase a four-wheeler around and just have some fun with my family up there, but wasn't able to do that, unfortunately. So now that I'm back, have all of my gear in one place, this was the first pack that I got to rip around and just felt a lot more confident. I have a video to share with Steven, my producer, when he came into town for a couple of days, and we were able to fly the drones together, and he was able to point out some things that I think I was just missing. He's also really good at picking up new skills and learning them fairly quickly. He was able to point out some things that he thought that I was missing out on, which was actually like more control of the drone with the tilt rather than just using the throttle. So this was the part that I was all hopped up on. These landings, and just being able to go a lot slower and be a lot smoother. That landing I know is not impressive by any stretch of the imagination, but for me, just being able to come in, slow myself down, kind of scrub off some speed by turning like that and land softly on the table, especially for not being able to fly for like 2 weeks, was a big improvement on my part. So I'll show you guys that again. Just coming in, being able to not hit Kate, who's sitting on the table, scrub off some speed, and then land it pretty easily was good. So you can still see I'm crashing every once in a while, but it does feel like a big improvement to be able to just fly this thing, slow down, and be more spatially aware, which was a big goal of mine, and something that I'm definitely going to need to learn how to do if ultimately my goal is to be able to fly a 3-inch drone and be able to like chase people and have good footage from a GoPro. So that's where we're at. All right, this next clip, this was me testing the distance. Like I said, I was trying to push this thing to the limits that I can push it. So it's flying in a straight line, trying to get further away from myself to see what the actual range of the drone is. I don't feel like I maxed it out quite yet, but as you can see in this video, I'm still having some problems with the video footage. So I think that was left over from one of the crashes that I had that day, that maybe the antenna was out of whack or something like that. But those are the types of things that I feel like I can still learn a lot from this drone without jumping into the next price point. So this footage is pretty bad, but I still had full control over the drone. Like the actual radio signal to the drone was not falling out. The farther I go out, this RSSI, I believe is what this is called on the on-screen display, is going down, which means that the signal is dropping out. I actually did learn that, so that was good. So keeping an eye on the number down here, and then as I come closer to myself, that number is going back up, meaning that I have more signal. So I think this is something to do with the antenna and not actually like the signal strength, why this video is so choppy. But the ability to fly, this is almost like 300 feet away, was pretty impressive to me. That's farther than I thought I'd be able to go. And then as I come back to the area where I'm sitting, the video feed clears up a little bit, and this number goes back up to like 70, where it was at like 60 before. So trying to learn. I think this will like help me push my knowledge of how does the receiver and how does the headset and all these things talk to the drone. So just trying to learn more about that field. Again, from the same drone that I started out on, the same little Acrobee, there's a lot of knowledge that I can pull from it. So that's that video. And then this last one, this was me trying to push it a little bit more with the actual flying mechanics. So doing some flips. So I've done like one flip and then really like kind of lost control, even like I just did in this video here. But my goal here was to string together a couple of flips. So the first two, I still not the greatest at like catching the horizon and keeping myself kind of in the same place in the air. But as I fly for a little bit more, I'm able to do a flip to the right, flip to the left, and then I think that was a back flip. And I think I tried to throw in a front flip here. but just a lot more confidence to be able to flip a lot faster. I don't think that this is like necessary for the type of filming that I want to do, but overall control of the drone is what I'm trying to learn. And then this I just thought was funny at the end. I was like, all right, cool, I just did a bunch of flips, my battery's getting a little low, let me try and land on the picnic table, and then crash it into the ground again. So still a long way to go, but I'm learning a lot and getting more confident and just excited about this possibility of what I can do with this drone and not having to immediately upgrade or spend another $150 on a drone when I really don't think I'm ready for it. The same thing that I was talking about last week with the DJI goggles. I'm like super hyped on them. I'm like, I'd be so great to be able to see much clearer and have better cameras and all that. It was like, I'm not really ready for that yet. There's still a lot of learning that I can do and flight time that I think I have left in this drone.